Hello, my name is Ebony Smith, and I am the owner and CEO of Graceful Grind Strategies. I also like to call myself the go to digital partner for organizations that are looking to make an impact and looking to make the world a better place. What I want to do is to start supporting you in the best way that I can for my organizations that are looking to either start clarifying and creating some sort of strategy for their marketing, or if you're beyond that and you're actually looking to grow and scale your digital presence so that it's not just doing what you needed to do digitally, but it's also driving engagement to people able to go out and mobilize on the ground. And so every week, I just want to give you a few notes of things that I am seeing that I think can be helpful to you and to your nonprofit marketing team. This is not just for nonprofits. This can go for your government agency that is working within the community. This is great for CSR and corporate entities. This is great if you're just getting started or you even thinking about starting your nonprofit. There's no wrong answers here. These particular things can be applied to anyone's marketing, but just take what you need. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I will leave my contact information in this video. So first off, let's start. Okay. So first things first, at this time, we are approaching summer. Schools are getting out. There are more motion and movement. Vacations are happening. Events are taking place. The weather is good. So the first thing that you might be inclined to do as a nonprofit is to create an event. You might be in your process right now of planning events throughout the summer. So the thing that I want to make sure that you're thinking about here is make sure that when you do events, you do them well. And I mean that before it actually happens, and when it happens, and when after that event happens. How do you make that an event a success? So, a few tips that I have for you there is when you're doing your event creation, think about the beginning all the way to the end of that event. What does that experience look like? So, ideally, you want people to show up. That's something that you're measuring that matters to you. But it's not just about showing up. You need people to register. You need to have more people registered because the math says everyone's not going to show up. So if you only have 5 people registered, there's a chance you're going to have 0 people actually show up. So based on how many people you want to see at this event, what does the registration need to look like so that it can level out and be the amount of people that you want, whether it be virtual or in person? So make sure that you're thinking about what is the information of the event so that people feel inclined to actually want to be a part of it. I know you love your organization and I do too, but they need to know what is in it for them. Why should they be interested in attending? Why should they stop what they're doing during the summer to go and attend this? You need to make sure that that information is very clear and in plain language where they can understand it. Then make sure that's translated to a flyer or some sort of graphic visual or video so that they can see, oh, this is what this event is about. And here's why I need to make sure that I prioritize my time to be there. Once you do that, then you definitely need to look at your registration process. This is where most organizations actually get hung up. They do a great job on planning, they do a great job on flyers, but then they'll just have the flyer and say, show up. No, you need a way to gauge if what your marketing is doing is even working. So I like to use things like Eventbrite. I like to use things to, even if it's a form on your website, ask people to go there and register because that's going to tell you if you are 2 weeks before event time and you don't have anyone signed up or you don't have enough people signed up, that gives you direction and lets you know that you need to increase your marketing efforts, either whether it just be on your social media, your email, or if you need to put some money behind it and start running some ads. We have more details on that at another time. Now, look at your registration. Make sure it's not too long, but make sure you're getting what you need to actually have some valuable information from that person. And make sure that they don't have any issues when it's time for them to actually register, that they're not running into errors or weird questions, or you're asking for their social security number. You don't need their social security number. You just need to know their name, their email, possibly a phone number. If you don't need their address, don't ask for it. Now, here's the big one that I got to tell you, okay? When it comes down to events, don't spend more time marketing the event than the actual event execution. There is nothing worse than selling an event and having people show up and the registration is a mess. People have an issue figuring out where they're supposed to be. There is no signage. There is no program. There is no agenda. And their experience is an overall negative experience, virtually or in person, because this is going to not only mess you up right now, it's going to mess up their perception of your organization's events in the future. They're going to say, this wasn't relevant to me, so I won't sign up for another one. They're going to say, I had issues even somebody finding my registration, so I won't register next time. So just take that time, have your summer events, have a fantastic time. But think about that. How can you make sure from the beginning, when it goes out into the planning phase, to the end, where you're hopefully asking for feedback on that event to tell you whether or not was this a good experience and how can we better improve that experience? Because I don't know about you, I do not like my nonprofit partners to have events just to have them with no impact, with no measurement, with nothing to say for it, because it takes a lot of work to put these things together. Okay. So y'all go have your events and just make sure you're thinking them through all the way. Moving on to the next piece is I noticed that a lot of my nonprofit partners and just allies are starting to receive their grants. And I'm excited for that. I'm happy that, the majority of you are still getting funded for the work that you do. But I want you to really think about what is the process that you're going to have for that grant. And I want to encourage you to create a marketing budget. It is very easy and necessary to allocate a good part of that budget to your programming. But you also have to think about the marketing of that programming. You have to think about, what are the pieces, the communications, and all of those things that allow you to have a good programming and be able to attain those numbers that you're looking for. How do you increase that relationship building with people? Oftentimes, what I see with these grants is you take the time and you do so much planning and strategy in your fundraising campaigns, which is great. But then there was no budget allocated to the marketing to create this relationship. So sometimes people join your email list, and the first thing they're hearing from you is, hey, donate. You haven't really gotten to know them yet. They don't necessarily know what you do. They don't necessarily know why you do it. And while you may get some donations from that, truly, if you were able to spend some of that budget into the relationship building through your marketing, your social media, your emails, what platforms are you using? Are you contracting support for your email, your social media, your text message strategies, some of your automations within your nonprofit to make that relationship building feel more natural and feel more personal? Because we're marketing to people. Whether you're looking to serve people or you're looking to have people come and support you by serving or advocating, they're people and they want to be connected with like people. And that doesn't just come by chance, that comes by strategy, implementation, testing, creativity, and just work. So make sure you think about that. If you haven't previously allocated a marketing budget, see what you can allocate per month to a marketing budget. Or if you can only afford to do 2 campaigns this year, allocate the budget to those 2 campaigns and make the most bang for your buck. Get some support on that and make sure it's a clear way to build the relationship so that your digital community feels like a true community, not just people that you go and you send 10 to 12 fundraising emails or email letters or fundraising letters to. So that's a consideration. Make sure you spend some money in that relationship building aspect as well. And then lastly, my thought for you is as summer comes along, there's going to be more events. You're most likely going to be doing a lot more serving. I see a lot of uptick in programming during the summer and in the fall for a lot of my nonprofit partners. Think about and be intentional about strategizing this content capture. Y'all do a lot of work. Y'all do a lot of work. And the thing that makes me sad is when you do a lot of that work and it is well thought out, that event is well thought out. This work that you're doing, you're serving 100 families meals, or you're going and you're distributing different materials to the community to encourage them to come together. You have measurable impact, but you don't have anything to show for it. So I always recommend look at, even if it has to be phone photography for right now, That's fine. That's fine. Take the pictures, take the video. There are different ways you can use AI to pull that stuff in and start extracting, but having those visuals and investing in a photographer, a good one, it completely changes the tone of what your marketing can look like. It doesn't have to cost $1 million, but sometimes investing in that videographer to capture your event and give you a nice recap video is worth it because it tells the story for those who are not able to attend that event, and it might encourage them to come back to the next event. Having the photos of children smiling and laughing, and you as a parent, you're going to see that and you're like, well, of course I want my child to be this happy. I didn't know that that's what this was. I didn't realize this event. The flyer gave me some details. The words in the email gave me some details, but seeing this experience for myself really changed my perspective on it. Let me bring my child to this event. So when you're looking at going back to your grant budget, see if you can capture this event and allocate a budget for photography or videography. And if you can't, assign someone. Think about it ahead of time. Who can you assign on your team to capture this content? Who can you assign and say, hey, just snap some pictures? We're going to put them in a folder somewhere. We're going to do this in a way that is where we can find what we need. And then use that for your social media, use that for your email, use that for putting in your marketing materials. And as your budget grows, your investment can grow. But if you're just starting out, capture something. And as you grow, if you're scaled and you have budget, bring on the tools that you need, bring on the people that you need to help you to present this work in a way that not only are people who want to serve are going to be really interested in, stakeholders, those who are reviewing you and seeing if they want to sponsor you. You have proof for them that goes with the numbers, because the data is beautiful, right? Like the data is fine, but the data without the story can fall flat. The story without the data can seem, too airy, too empty. But the two together, that's why they can really play off of each other when you kind of have the art and the science together. So I don't want this video to be too long, but again, I want to make sure that we are maximizing what's happening during the summer, okay? So just a quick recap. Make sure that if you're going to do an event, do it well. Do it well. Take the time to plan it. Give yourself enough lead time to market it so that you actually have a result of people there. And then go back and look at that event and ask people what they thought about it so that you can make the next one better. As you get those grants in, congratulations on those of you who got them. As you're planning, allocate some budget for your marketing. Allocate some budget for that marketing. If you don't know what to do with that or how to do that, feel free to reach out to me. I can make a suggestion on where I feel you can best allocate that marketing budget, whatever it may be. You can schedule a connect call with me on my website. And then lastly, make sure that you're capturing this work that you're doing. You are doing tons of work. You're doing tons of programming. There is transformation happening between you and the people that you serve and those that serve alongside you. Capture it. Make sure that you capture it so that you can share it with other people and use it in different capacities. Start with what you have. Don't go out and buy a $2,000 camera and you don't have a $2,000 camera budget. I would not recommend that. The latest cell phone or even just a smartphone in general will capture what you need at this time. All right, y'all, those are my weekly notes for this week. I hope this was helpful to you. If you want to see a specific type of content or something that I didn't answer today that you would like to see answered in the future, feel free to comment, let me know. And if you want to follow up with me about your nonprofit specifically and get some support, feel free to go to gracefulgrindstrategies.com. That's graceful with 2 L's because we're full of grace. gracefulgrindstrategies.com. Schedule your connect call today, and we will kind of connect together and see what's best for you and your organization. Y'all keep going out there and making an impact.